Welcome back to this week's video update. In this week's video, we have a lot of projects we need to work to get ready to close overhead vinyl again. First project we need to tackle is this overhead light assembly, the big hole they left behind. They cut a hole into the fiberglass deck up above, removing the core material. Now we have to figure out how we're going to repair this. But first, we need to remove that rotted plywood. Now with the plywood out of the way, it's time to get a closer look and do a little damage assessment here. We're going to have to figure out how to fix this. We're going to have to pot that with some kind of core material. I don't know, we'll figure out something on that, but wow, they did all that damage to the boat just to put that light fixture in place. We'll have to repair this and use our imagination to do something a little bit better when it's time for us to install a new light. With a little advice from Marco, from one of my coworkers, he said try some teak for a core replacement material. So that's what we're using. We're going to need to take all this and use it to make a template so we can make a new piece of plywood and a new light base to go up there. Sounds pretty easy. Up next, another thing we want to accomplish this weekend is we want to get these newly made pieces of overhead plywood installed. Now, if you remember, we coated these with penetrating epoxy and painted them with the white bilge coat paint. That's an extra layer of protection that prevents moisture from getting inside the plywood and starting rotting and all that delamination stuff we don't want to happen. Also, our goal is to get the large piece of overhead plywood for the large opening hatch section. Once we get these all installed, that paves the way to get us ready to start getting that vinyl closed up. Everything that we touch, we want to make it look as good as we possibly can. Nobody should ever see this again, but if they do, they will know that somebody took the time and the attention to detail to make this as nice as they could. So if this piques your interest, come on in, take a look, and see how we put all these pieces of the puzzle back together again, and one day making our boat back into a thing of beauty again. We hope you like it. Okay, maybe that was a little over the top. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get our next video started. Welcome back to another exciting and thrill-filled adventure with DIY Nautical Dream.
Hi guys! Welcome back. If you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe down below. And please watch our video from the very beginning up until the end.
Perfect! Oh, wow!
Hi guys! Welcome back. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together we make DIY Nautical Dream. So, what's going on, honey?
We're going to go ahead and try to apply the first coats of varnish to the teak pin rails that were cut out and modified for the nav station little project we still have going on there. So we're going to put varnish on those and see how they turn out. Hopefully it'll really make those pop, make them look really nice.
Also, we began to investigate the holes that someone put into the overhead fiberglass that support the boat deck.
Yeah, you know that light fixture that was probably valued at about $1.50. That one that they cut those holes in, took out the honeycomb core and all that junk. And anyway, so we're going to investigate that a little bit further and find out what it's going to take to do some repairs on that. If we figure out what we're going to do, we may even get started on it a little bit. We'll just see how it goes. But we need to remove some pieces and use them as templates, hopefully to make new ones. So we got to figure out what's going on with all that.
And we will also begin installing the overhead scrap wood without,
I forgot the drill motor. So we're
oh,
gonna use a
manual.
Yeah. So yeah, I forgot the drill motor, so we're gonna go ahead and try to locate the holes with the Dremel tool. So we'll see how that goes. But if all goes well, we'll just improvise and use that as our drill gun. Yep, so the plan is if we get those holes located, we're gonna go ahead and try to get some of that installed. It'd be really nice to start putting those pieces in there. And if luck is on our side, we can get that large overhead hatch frame, that plywood section installed, and then we got the green light to start closing up some of that vinyl. So that's what we're going to try and do in this episode, and we'll see how it goes.
Alright, so stay tuned guys, we're gonna show you our update this week's video.
Yep, we'll show you our progress, so we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so we have the teak pin rail. We've just put on the first coat of varnish, and also did the same for the extended base, as you can see right here. And then we can also see the pin rail here. It's kind of dark in this room here, so it doesn't really show up very well, but we'll take a look at it again once it's cured. And then also that piece there. So I think it's going to look really nice, but time will tell. Yep. Alright, we'll see what it looks like after it's cured. We'll come back in a couple hours, take a look at it. Alright, one of the next things we need to figure out is how to get this piece of plywood up in there that the old original light housing mounted to. We need to get that out of there so we can make a new one. So it looks like we have some staples we need to undo. And then up here on the back side we have a few screws we need to get out. So we're going to work on that next, try and get that out in one piece. If we're successful, then we can take that and make a new one. See how that goes. We want to get that out so we can put a new piece in there and hopefully mount a new light up there. Okay, well, it didn't come out in one piece, and I'm not real impressed with what I found. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you see up in here the big cutout space there? They did that to make room for the back of the light housing. So they cut out a section of the deck core right here, the honeycomb. Hang on, let me see if I can get a little bit closer. So you can see where the honeycomb's cut out there. Yeah, so they did that to make room for the back side of the light housing. Good install there, huh? I can't believe somebody thought that was a good idea. But anyways, that's what they decided. So you can see the area where there's no paint, the big square here. Yeah. So that's what we need to make a new one of those. A new piece of plywood that's going to fill that area. And then we're also going to have to figure out if we decide that we want to repair that honeycomb, the missing area there, if we want to put something in there, some kind of filler. Yeah, that's not real impressive. I just can't believe that somebody said, yeah, please, let's do that to this boat. But that's what they did. So I'm sure we're going to find more things like that along the way. Pretty crazy. Anyway, so I'll show you guys the pieces of wood that came out of there. So pretty nice, huh? These are the two pieces of scrap wood that came out of the overhead there. And so see the gap right here and the gap right there. That was so the wires, they put those in there so the light wires could pass through. I know, it's just crazy. So that's what we have going on. This is the kind of thought process we're working with here. So now if it was me, I would cut a slot on the back side of the plywood deep enough that the wires could reside in there, and of course epoxy coat it and all that so it wouldn't rot. But that's what we have here. So that's their mindset. So with a mindset like that, we can expect to find more things like this throughout the boat. Plus they cut out this pattern here inside the honeycomb of the deck. So I don't know. It never ceases to amaze me the type of things that we find on this boat. I don't know if they were done in production or if it was done afterwards and somebody thought that was a good idea to go ahead and cut big chunks of the deck core out to fit a really junky light in there. You guys saw that light we took out of there. That thing was no... Well, hang on, I'll show you. So I don't know if you all remember or not, but this is a light that they cut the deck out to make room for this to fit. So let's see what's on the backside. So they decided to make room for all of that. So they cut out the deck coring to make room for that right there. I mean, really? If anything, I would have made this wood double thickness or something, or I don't know. I would have went with a different light design. I'm not going to cut the deck coring out to make this work, but that's the mindset. So you know we can find other things like this throughout the boat. No surprises. Just expect things like this and like that. So anyways, we'll just keep moving forward. Just expect the unexpected. So this gives you kind of a rough idea of what they were doing here, right? So then let's look on the back side. And so the power wires would pass through here, tie into these wires somehow, right? And then pass back through here to the rest of the wires in the circuit. Yeah, pretty ingenious. But they went ahead and cut out this much coring in the upper deck to make room for this. We'll make another one of these pieces of plywood here. Of course, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make it all one piece, and we'll cut channels in there. We'll route it out or whatever. We'll recess it enough that the wires can sit in there, but we don't need to cut the whole thing in half. Okay, so we found some scrap plywood. We're going to go ahead and rough cut the shape out, and then we'll router it to perfection once we get it all cut out. We're going to make it a little bit longer on the front edge. We got to be right on at the back edge. So very high quality light base right here. Yep. They say use good wood, but that was about as far as I went with that. All right, challenge is going to be, that's the challenge right there, to get this located and installed. And of course, I always do a really good job of putting the screw gun as far away as possible. So it's nearly impossible to reach, but that's part of the fun. Oh. Let's try it again. Okay. We're part way there to at least having it tacked in place. I don't think there's such thing as anything going easier. So now the problem is going to be all these holes here. They all need to be located, of course, and we don't have our screw gun here. So that's pretty cool. We're going to have to figure that out. I think we're going to have to use the Dremel to drill some holes. We will figure it out. Alright, well, we forgot our drill motor at home, so we're going to have to drill the holes with the Dremel. So this should be interesting, huh? This one does not have a speed control on it, so it's just a go for it deal. We better put some eye protection on for this action. Okay, we'll do those two first. See how that works out. Alright. We'll do this one, that one, and then that'll be it. We don't need to put any more holes in it. Less is more when it comes to holes in the structure. Get that out of the way so we can get a decent hole here. Okay. All right. We don't need to do any more than that. That is in there nice and solid, so we're happy with that. We still have access to the bolts here because we want to replace the rope clutch bolts at some time. So we have access to that, so we don't have to undo that. Okay, up next we're gonna be installing this piece right here. So let's get going here. Is that appropriate? Seems like we got some issues here. Too much reconstructive surgery back here. So we're going to, yep, seems like that's about right. Okay. All right. Just stay there if you could. Okay, got one in. All right, we got that one in. Okay. Seems like we got it in there that time. Just gotta make sure it's not sticking down farther than that because we don't want a big misfire on that. It might show up in the vinyl. So we're good there. Let's see what we can do here. Okay. All right, now then, we need to put our shim in. So we'll have to back up a little bit. We need to put our shimmy in there. Yep, I think that's how it went. Just like that. Alright, we'll figure it out. Alright. We'll have a few threads engaged, but I don't know if we're going to have enough. I don't know if that looks right. We gotta think about this for a minute. This thing here, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I remember we put an arrow on it for a reason. And it seems like that's the way it's going to go. It's a shim for the frame to the large opening hatch. So we'll just go ahead and go with it for now. Okay, all right. It is what it is, right? Might run that down a little bit more. I just don't want it hanging out in the breeze. That didn't sound good. We gotta make sure that didn't break. But we're gonna pretend it's okay. And we'll move on. Because we don't really want to know. Like, I don't like this. How it's hanging down here. I think we gotta go with something longer. It's not getting any thread engagement. There we go. Okay. Now it's got some holding power. All this is for is when we attach the vinyl to it, staples in place. That's all it's for. See the line right here? That's our vinyl center line, center point. We will figure out where we're going next, what the next plan is. I really want to get the large frame in for the hatch. Let's see if we can make that happen. Okay, so far we have these installed. And we have the main modified piece installed. Now if you remember, when we took this apart, this was two pieces. So when we cut the new one, we made this a part of the other piece instead of two separate pieces. So Hopefully that's going to work out for us. It looks like it will. And we're going to paint these up. Give it enough time to dry before we get ready to start closing the vinyl up in this area. But man, tell you what, we're going to start making some visual progress here pretty soon. That's going to really start looking good. Now we need to focus on the big hatch piece that goes up in here. So we're going to work on that next. Hopefully this, still not sure if this is right or not, but I seem to remember that that's where it was when we took it apart. So we'll see. All right, let's see here. All right, now let's see. Let's see if we can find a spot where we're good. Okay. There won't be any holes there because that's new. So let's see here. There should be a hole right there. Okay, it's there. All right, there we go. There's our hole right there. Okay. Whew. All right, so now we have 2 screws holding, but that's not going to be enough. So we're gonna have to find more screws. Now it's in there tight. Let's see. So it turns out that the shim was in the right spot after all. So that's good. Nice and tight. Now we do in there. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. Let's see. Okay. Now we're tight. Maybe one more. I think we're good. By the way, if you don't have one of these little mechanisms here, these are kind of nice to have. So it just attaches to the screw gun like that. Very handy in tight spots. Alright, so now we have this installed. We could put a screw. There's a hole. I have a hole for one there, but it's alright. I think we're going to be okay without it. I don't want to put a bunch in there if we don't have to. It's definitely going to do the job. The main function of this piece is for the teak trim, the frame that goes around the hatch, and the vinyl. This vinyl here, the vinyl is going to attach to it like so. And that's about it, really. So we made some pretty good progress here. We have this up now, and we're pretty happy about that. It actually fit. All the holes lined up and everything. And then we have all these pieces up as well. So we're good. We got what we wanted done. Plus, we were able to remove that piece right there. And I'm still not sure whether we're going to fill those cavities or not where the core was cut out. Still thinking about that. But if we do, we'll need to get that done before we put that new piece in there. So we have a little bit of time to think about it. We're going to make that new piece at home, and then we'll bring it back to put it up in here and make sure it fits. Then our next step is to get this piece out here. We'll have to open the vinyl back up down here a little bit farther, get this piece out, and make a new one. Steady progress. This is good progress here, because pretty soon we're going to be able to start closing the vinyl up. What's in store after we get the vinyl closed up? Ooh, we have a lot of things on the plate still. We'll have to figure out what's next, but Getting the vinyl closed up is a good thing. We need to do something about this at some point. We have a pretty good idea what's going on there, but I'm sure that there's some rotted plywood up in there we'll need to replace. Solve that little issue going on there. If you look right here, I have a piece of teak that I used when I used the hole saw. That's what's left over after I cut a hole out of one of the light bases. So that's going to make a perfect fit right there. And then for the bigger hole, let's see what we can do for that. I have another piece. Oh, it's still, that's not going to be a good fit. We're going to have to figure something else out there. But for right there, that's definitely going to work. We can slop up some thickened epoxy, slather it all around in that hole, and jam that in there. That'll be just fine. So I think we're going to do that, and then we'll continue to find some other pieces to fill those other holes, and then we'll glass over it when we're done. That'll be the plan. See? Right thickness and everything. So that'll work out. And I have a medium-sized piece that very closely almost fits the middle hole. I probably could tap it in there and make it fit. So we might end up doing that, but we'll get the smaller piece in first. And then we might have to cut a little edge off of here because they interface, they'll have an interference right there. Anyways, I'll figure that out. See, it doesn't take rocket science to figure out how to do that kind of stuff, but I cannot believe that somebody was okay with cutting that away just to put a light fixture there. That is not, that's why we can't have nice things. All right, we'll get it figured out. Okay, so we went ahead and epoxied into place that piece of teak right here, and we left it recessed down and didn't fill it in for a reason, because we'll add more thickened epoxy on top of that later, and then that'll be when we fiberglass over the top of all these. We want to get each piece set in individually, and then when they're all in and cured, then we'll glass everything in all together with a little bit more thickened epoxy over the top to help fair in all the high edges there. But putting that little teak in there for the core, I think that's going to work out just fine. So anyways, we'll keep doing that the rest of the way. We got to modify a few other pieces to do those two spots, but I think I have a piece at home that'll fit in here, and then we have the other piece that fits in the middle. So we'll let this cure up, and then we'll worry about the rest later. We're going to fill these in, glass it over, and nobody will ever know the difference. But at least we know we did the right thing and fixed it. It shouldn't be, we should not have open core like that. It's just not a good idea. Moisture can get in there. Plus it weakens this area of the structure, the overhead portion. So we don't want it. We always try to do better than what we found it. Our next step is going to be to get all this painted so that it'll be all set up and cured. So next time we can close the vinyl. Mostly back there we'll be able to close some of the vinyl, at least on this side here. At some point, we're hoping sooner than later, we'll be able to reinstall the hatch, our newly rebuilt hatch that we're working on. Not quite complete yet, but we're hoping to wrap that up and be able to put that back in as well. One of the ideas I'm having right now is I'm thinking about filling this void in here. See, there's a slight cavity back in here, and it fills up, it gets condensation in there when it's cold outside. So I'm thinking about filling that in with foam insulation and see how that turns out. It's just an idea. We did not do it on the other side, but I'm thinking about doing it here. And if we like it, then we'll go back and do it on the other side as well. We'll see how it turns out. Anyways, it's just a thought for right now. I'm still processing it to see if it's worth doing or not. Anyways, we're going to get started painting. I'll show you what it looks like after it's done. Alright, check it out. We have all Everything's painted. All the new pieces of plywood are all painted, and they're also sealed with penetrating epoxy. So these pieces of plywood should last a long time. But anyways, looking good. See? Not bad. Still thinking about filling in this void all the way around with the expanding foam insulation. So, but we won't do it today. We'll do that probably next time. But it's definitely something I'm thinking about doing. It'll just insulate that cavity. One less area for moisture to condense. And so yeah, that's what we're thinking about. If you guys have any ideas against it, please let us know in the comments below. But that's the thought for right now. Anyways, we're making slow but steady progress, and things are coming along good. All this stuff takes a really long time, and at least we know this is an area we've worked in, so if we ever have to get in here later, sometime down the road, we'll know that this is an area we worked in, and we should be able to expect good quality work. So there should not be, hopefully there's no problems in these areas that we have to come back to address. But either way, it gives it just a nice, better finished look. And that's what we're looking for. Everything that we touch, we want to make it look as good as we possibly can. Nobody should ever see this again, but if they do, they will know that somebody took the time and the attention to detail to make this as nice as they could.
Perfect!
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our videos. We really appreciate it.
Wow, good job, honey. The paint roll varnish looks good.
Yep, I'd say so. Does look good. I think that was the right move on that. And they're nice and shiny and they look good. So we'll still have to add a couple more coats, but yeah, that's sharp looking. Very nice.
Pat, the more we investigate the hole
Oh yeah.
cut into the fiberglass,
Yeah, the less impressed we are with that action. Whoever did that, it could not have been the owner. People, you wouldn't do that to your boat.
and the wood didn't came out in one piece.
No, we were trying to use that as a template. We're still going to, but we're hoping to get it out in one section so we could just, real quick and easy. But we're going to have to kind of like line everything back up
Right.
and hope it works. So we were able to locate the holes with the Dremel tool. We didn't have the screw gun with us, but I was able to improvise and make that work. So that was kind of a neat little thing. It didn't hold us up. We still were able to move forward. So we have those holes located. That turned out really good. All in all, that worked really good. And we were able to install the large hatch frame plywood. Big deal right there. That is big progress.
Yep.
So now
Looks really nice.
Yeah. Now we can start closing up the vinyl. So that's a big deal. We're really happy about that. That's a big step forward.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, also we started to repair the holes that were cut into the deck core, and we had a piece of teak that was cut out from a light base, and so a round circular piece of teak fit in there perfect. That's our coring. I know it's a little bit, overkill, but it's what we had on hand. We don't have any honeycomb sections to use, so that was our core material.
Yep.
We were able to epoxy around the edges, seal up the core, the honeycomb core that was in there, seal that up, jam that in there, and hey, it looks like it's going to work out. So we're just going to continue doing that the rest of the way. We have other pieces of teak, so one by one we're going to fill those holes and make it work. And then we'll fiberglass over it at some point.
So lots of painting, but look good. It's new.
Things are really looking good. So we're making good progress. Just continuing to take the steps. We got to be careful as we go. Everything's different on this side. We're just making slow but steady progress.
Yep. Slowly but surely.
Yep.
Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. If you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe down below.
Right down here somewhere. Right, baby?
Yep.
Okay.
And, like always, please watch our video from the very beginning up until the end. We really appreciate it.
Yep, we do. We just really appreciate that.
Alright, so see you guys next week's video.
Yep. See you.
Bye. Alright, that's it, guys. See you next time. Bye. And please don't forget to subscribe.
That's going in the outtakes.
Whoa.
Yep. Dang, if I only hit record. Man.
I think you did.
Okay.
Yep, we're recorded.
Oh yeah, we're back. At least we got that action, huh? Yeah. Oh man, did it shut off on us?
No.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
Oh, I need your microphone. All right, it looks like it's turning out pretty good, baby. What do you think?
No, what do you think? Did we record it?
Hang on, not yet.